the first microchips went into household pets to keep tabs on them, it was probably only a matter of time before some humans somewhere were attracted to the idea. And so it's come to pass. There's actually now a small number of people around the world with an implanted computer-like device that allows them, with just a swipe of the hand, to open a door or even activate a computer, just like a smart card or an e-tag. 3 states in the US have passed legislation regulating the practice, and science is even starting to speculate about brain implants to enhance memory. But not everybody thinks that devices implanted into healthy humans is a good idea. Theatre Chaos reports.
I wanted a more convenient way that made more sense to me to get into my office.
IT professional Amal Grafstra describes himself as an implant hobbyist, a do-it-yourself microchipper. In 2005, he had a radio frequency identification device, or RFID, inserted into his hands. It's technology commonly used to identify dogs and cats.
Every day after work, with the groceries in hand, I use it every day to get into the back door, and it's better than fumbling around for keys.
Does it seem quite a dramatic thing to undertake just to be able to get into the house?
For some, probably, but for me, when looking at it, I said, well, it's really just moving that RFID card from my pants pocket to a skin pocket.
Amal Grafstra has modified his device to perform functions from starting up his motorcycle to accessing his computer. The RFID emits a low-level radio frequency, but the information on the chip can only be read and used by specific programmed readers.
The chip I have is actually located in my hand. You can just about see it here. And it's about a centimetre or so long. It's a little glass capsule.
Mark Gasson is a researcher at the pioneering Cybernetic Intelligence Research Group at the University of Reading in the United Kingdom.
I use this tag for access to my laboratory at the University of Reading. So I can just swipe my hand across the plate by the door and it will grant me access. My mobile phone has a reader integrated into it, so when I'm using my mobile phone, it can directly read the tag in my hand. If someone else takes my mobile phone, it just doesn't work.
To think something so small can connect you.
It was in 2004 that microchips were first approved for human use in the United States. It's been marketed as a device linked to a medical records database, so in an emergency, a doctor can scan the chip and find out vital medical information.
Providing immediate access to your medical records.
Outside academic circles, it may seem like science fiction, but implant technology is already the subject of intense debate.
Deep inside of every person on this globe, I think there's a real concern about this technology.
American privacy campaigner Catherine Albrecht.
One of the problems with implantable microchips is it actually turns you into a number in someone's database. The corporation that markets these devices has talked about doorway readers, so that as you walk through a doorway, you'd be automatically identified, your location would be scanned and noted. And I think that idea that Big Brother would be observing us as we go about our daily business was very disturbing to people.
Catherine Albrecht says in the United States, at least one employer has asked staff to consider taking an implant.
A lot of people are concerned, will I get to the point where instead of having to run a badge past a reader, someone might ask me to actually take an implant and run an implanted body part against the reader to get to work.
We're interested in looking at the risks associated with this type of simple technology.
As well as the potential privacy concerns comes the added risk of humans catching a computer virus.
In 2 experiments, we've corrupted the main computer system in the building.
Recently, Mark Gasson made international headlines by deliberately infecting his chip under controlled conditions with a computer virus specifically designed to play havoc with the secure access system of the university building.
It actually reads the device, interprets the code incorrectly, corrupts the main database that controls access to the building, which then stops anyone from being able to access the building.
Part of the experiment also involved assessing the psychological impact of the virus.
I've still found it a very violating experience. This is a tag that I've had for a year. I use it for access to the building. I use it all the time. To suddenly find that not only does it not work, but I'm potentially spreading a computer virus just by walking through the building. It's a very bizarre feeling because I can't just remove the tag.
Catherine Albrecht wants greater regulation of the technology. 3 states, including California, have already passed legislation to regulate implant technology.
I'd like to think that the people of the world will be able to stand together in solidarity and say, this is not our future, this is not a future that we want. And as a society that understands the risks of these kinds of technologies and the power that they would put into government hands, that we would stand up together and say, no, that's not the future that we want. We're going to go in a different direction.
The problem is, it's the sensational stories that really capture the imagination.
Despite the potential drawbacks, Mark Gasson says the benefits of implant technology have already been proven in medicine.
I think there's a very real danger that people understand implantable devices to be science fiction. Actually, in a medical context, implantable pacemakers and cochlear implants form very intimate connections to the body.
One of the most compelling clinical applications is deep brain stimulation, which is currently performed on some patients suffering Parkinson's disease. It involves inserting electrodes in the brain to continuously stimulate one part of it, stopping debilitating tremors. The next step, according to researchers, is applying the technology to healthy people.
The patient feels again free.
If we can have a brain implant, for example, which could increase your IQ or increase your memory in some way, would people be interested in having that type of technology? I believe they probably will.
It's not as far-fetched as it sounds, given that people are already willing to insert microchips into their hands.
I think that people's interest is there. I mean, as you can go on YouTube now and see just about there's a ton of people that I don't even know, I've never talked to, that are doing this now.
In the future, others may be willing to go much further.
Cosmetic surgery has shown that people will undergo extremely invasive procedures for some net gain. So I think what we're likely to see is the application of this technology for enhancement.
That report from Theatre Chaos.